Okay, welcome back. Now, let's talk about frustums. What is a frustum? A frustum is basically a pyramid, and it's where you just basically cut off the tip or some portion of the top part of the pyramid. And what's left over, once you take off the top part that you cut off, is the frustum. So in this case here, if we just basically with a parallel saw, just basically cut off this top part, right? We just cut off this top part and threw it away. Then what would be left over is called the frustum. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is the frustum of a pyramid. Later on we'll talk about frustums of cones, which is pretty much the same idea, except you're dealing with a cone instead of a pyramid. So the frustum of a pyramid is just this bottom piece after you lop off the top. So the way you want to look at these when we're talking about surface area or when we talk about volume, literally what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at two pyramids. We're going to be looking at the small pyramid, which is the part we're going to cut off, compared to the overall larger pyramid. Okay, and so if we wanted to find the area or the surface area or the volume of the frustum, well, it's just going to come down to taking the calculation based on the complete pyramid and then subtracting off the area or volume or what have you of the smaller tip or the smaller period or pyramid. Okay, that's it. So let's introduce some of the formulas that go to this, right? So again, the altitude, right? So let's talk about the altitude. The altitude of a pyramid is just from the apex down to the center of the base, right? We're talking about regular right pyramids, right? Correct. So with a frustum, the altitude is the height of the frustum. So you're going to go from the center of the top base, right, the part that's cut off, to the center of the bottom base, which is, again, it's going to be a perpendicular line. Okay, so that's going to be the altitude. Okay, or height. Okay, so make sure you write that down. Okay. And then, of course, the slant height, right? The slant height of the frustum is just going to be, again, from the side of the pyramid, from the top to the bottom. It's going to be the perpendicular line that goes from the middle of the top of the edge, right, all the way down to the edge of the base. Okay, so that's going to be the slant height. Okay, again, same idea as with if we were dealing with the complete pyramid. Okay, so that's the slant height. Okay, and now we've got two bases to deal with. Okay, so we've got the top base and we got the bottom base. So that means we're going to have two perimeters. We're going to have perimeter 1, okay? So that's going to be the perimeter of the top base, if you will. And then we got P2, which we're going to call the perimeter of the bottom base. Okay? And so then we've got corresponding A1 and A2, which are going to be the corresponding areas. So A1 would be the area of the top base. And of course A2 is the area of the bottom base. Okay, so those are the things we're going to need for our formulas. Okay? Because again, think about this as far as subtracting pyramids, right? We've got the larger pyramid minus the smaller pyramid. So the top base is actually just the bottom base of the smaller pyramid, which goes back to what I was saying, is we're basically we're effectively subtracting the areas or surface areas or the volumes of pyramids. Okay, so now I'm not going to derive these formulas, but that's where these formulas come from. So the lateral surface area of the frustum is going to be this. Okay, so notice that we still have S, but S is the slant height of the frustum now. Okay, but how do we get that slant height? Well, we take the slant height of the entire pyramid, and then we subtract off the slant height of the smaller pyramid if we knew it. Okay, but again, I'm just telling you that so you know how these formulas are derived. Okay, so this is the lateral surface area of the frustum. That's the formula, and then the total area okay, so the total area is really easy. It's just total area is going to be equal the lateral surface area plus A1 plus A2, and then the volume is, again, effectively, it's just the volume of the large pyramid minus the volume of the smaller pyramid. So what do we get when we talk about the volume of a pyramid? Remember, it's 1/3 the area of the base times the height. So in this case, it's going to be 1/3 times the height. Again, in this case, the height is the height of the altitude of the frustum. Okay? So again, it's, let's see, and then it's just going to be area 1 plus area 2 plus the square root of the product of the two. Okay. And those are the formulas. So again, so these are what we're going to use when we want to find the lateral surface area, the total surface area, or the volume of a frustum. Have a great day.